Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Two Young Pastors podcast. My name is Elijah, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, my friend, my partner in ministry, Pastor Jawan Sanders. Today, we're just going to be talking about post-ordination, talking about how we feel, talking about what really pastoring looks like after this milestone, our successes of how we got here, some challenges that we might have had, and how we're planning for the future and seeing what that looks like. So, go ahead and stick with us in this episode as we work through and process through it. But, bro, we had an episode that we released last week on us being up there during ordination. And we had, both of our churches there. We had a lot of support up there as well, man. How'd you feel the day of? How'd you feel the day of? I know that we were in Camp Pitch already, so there was a lot of things happening in the background. How'd you feel the day of?
Day of, man. First and foremost, I was just focusing on making sure that I got the rest of like my attire together. Uh, and because backstory, uh, I ordered a suit, and it was supposed to come the week before. And because it didn't come, I was like, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh, because I wanted to wear a particular outfit because I was talking to a couple of pastors anyway, and they were like, "Listen, man, ordination is one of those major milestone events, for pastoral ministry," and so they were like, "Treat yourself, get yourself a nice suit, right?" Uh, and I was like, "All right, so I'm gonna get a suit. I'm gonna get a suit." And I typically I forgot who it was, but they taught me, you know, black double-breasted suits don't work as well as like gray or blue or any other color, but I was like, let me do it because it stands out. It's not your typical
Yeah.
regular two button suit. It's a double breasted suit, and so I was like, all right. So good news is that finally came the night before. So Thursday it was finally delivered. Check. But then I had to then get like a button down shirt because I didn't have one of those because camp pitch is really just us doing manual labor outside for most of the point.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any clean shirts. So I was like, let me go to the store. Especially because we're at King of Prussia, we're near King of Prussia Mall, second
Mhm.
largest mall on the East Coast of America, I believe. And so I was like, all right, let me go there. Let me get the last few things out the way so that the outfit can be complete. Because you know what they always say: if you dress good, then you look good. If you look good, you feel good. If you
Uh-huh.
feel good,
Uh-huh.
you play good, and if you play good, you get paid good. That's what Deion Sanders always used to say. And so I just wanted to at least look good. If you look good, that's half the battle right there.
Mhm.
People like to be excited about how good you look, and I think that was it. And I think just knowing there was going to be a good amount of people there who were supporting both you and I think it felt really good.
Yeah.
And I think I was just nervous. I was like, my interview I hope my interview made sense, would make sense to people, and that it wouldn't just be ramblings. And so that was the only thing that I was nervous about.
Yeah.
But I was just excited just to be able to celebrate with friends and family, and I was really looking forward to what Dr. Peeler was going to say because I
Mm.
think I think he knows you and I um, more so than more closely than other pastors do. And so him doing the charge, I think I was like, I felt that he could speak a little bit more closely to things that we're actually
That's
going
true.
through. And so I was just anticipating what he was going to say.
Yeah.
So one part relieved that I finally got my outfit together. The next part nervous because I was like, all right, I hope it makes sense because other people are going to see it, and I just hope I'm not rambling because theology majors, pastors can just talk and be in their head, and also just like this feeling of anticipation. What's going to be said? What are
Mhm.
going to be the words that should stick with us forever
Yeah.
after this point? And so that's how I felt. That's how I felt going into the day. What about you?
Man, like we had a longer day that that Thursday, and then on Friday was it Friday morning? No. So Friday we were off. So like we didn't have so like, if you're listening, right, can't pitch, usually you don't get a day off, but if you're being ordained, you get that Friday off to prep and, get like spiritually sensitive and things like that. So on that Friday morning, bro, I woke up and it was like a moment where I spent with God, and I was like, "All right, God, I'm here. I understand that it's a milestone, and I just know that uh, I'm here because you brought me here." And I had that moment with God where I was like, continue to show and affirm that this is where I'm supposed to be, and that was just an awesome experience just to sit down and be connected and then start the day off that way. And then, bro, like I was hearing back from one of my members, um, and she was like, this was the best ordination service in a long time." And she wasn't saying that because I was being ordained.
Yeah.
She was saying that because the atmosphere felt different. She said in past ordinations, that like it was a great atmosphere, but she was like, this one felt like a really, really good like atmosphere because our churches were there. Amanda's church, if you did
So
not see ordination, they had like those like political posters up with
Amanda for president. Amanda for president.
It was so good, man. It was so
Yeah.
good. Like they came out in full force.
Yeah.
Shane's church did as well, man. And just seeing everyone there was great. Um, you know, uh, being able, bro, to go through that process, seeing everyone up there, congratulating you, praying over you. Again, like we talked about a little bit about what ordination kind of meant for us a bit. And for me, it was just being able to get that affirmation from mentors. Again, bro, Doc Peeler preaching, like, that for me sealed the deal.
Mm,
Like, when he started preaching, I took the booklet and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna save, like that part of it." And then I started to write down notes
that's solid.
on like my face or like next to my face, so that like I have this like box inside of my room. It has all the cards that
Yeah.
people give me for ministry stuff. And I say those cards because I've heard that ministry gets tough. I haven't gone through that tough
Mm,
patch yet, right? So I said, all right, let me save these cards in the box so that when those tough times come and I'm being challenged with my position or I'm being challenged or seeing if this is a place for me, I could go back and I could see all the people that were touched by me, right? So
yeah.
my plan was to take the card, was to take the sheet, with me and like my name, my family, and stuff like that on there, and then take the notes down and then save that in the box, right?
Mm,
So I
that's
had
cool.
done all the notes on there and I put it down, and we took pictures and everything.
Mhm.
And when I reached back to get the booklet, it was gone. The booklet was gone, the notes were gone, and I was like,
Mercy.
who would take uh the booklet off my seat? I mean, I had like flowers, cards, and everything else there, so I'm happy that they didn't take that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a blessing in disguise because then I went back and I listened to the sermon again, and I was planning to anyway, bro. But Doc Peeler preached, bro.
You
He
did.
preached, and that actually meant the world to me, bro. Like out of everything else, like him and Pastor Reed being able to escort me down,
Yeah.
was just meant the world to me, bro. Like, yeah. Mhm.
Dude, yeah, man. I when I say I feel that, I think having so many, like for me, having so many individuals from different walks of life and different stages of my life, present, I think that that's really what hit for me. Um, I I have been trying to figure out, what does this really mean for me, consistently. Um, and a part of it is because, for me, I was like, man, I don't feel like I've done anything yet.
Mm,
I don't feel like I've earned it. I don't feel like I've earned ordination. I recognize I'm still like in that mindset where I feel like I gotta earn something like this. And because like I feel like, man, at times I feel like, dude, I don't think I've done enough. I don't think I've worked hard enough. Uh a part of me is just like, do I deserve it? Do I deserve
mm,
this already? Like I've only been an assistant pastor, for 3.5 years, you know. Um and I feel like I should have done more. And probably because I'm comparing myself to other people and what I've seen other people do. And I think, as I was processing, I think God really had to stop me and say, hey, you know, it's not necessarily about you proving that you deserve this, you know. It's really just about you showing up. It's about you showing up. And what you are proving is that you're willing to follow me,
mm,
you know, because for me, um, it's so much of like, and this was in like my interview, undergrad kind of sort of became a thing of, hey, prove that you're worthy enough to get picked up, right? Um, learn the skills, become the person that you need to be so that other people can see that you deserve to be picked up, possibly sponsored to go to grad school. And so what I didn't realize, bro, is that I had kind of sort of adopted like this mentality of like, man, I got to prove it. In order for me to like be able to celebrate, I got to prove that
mm,
I deserve to be here. And little did I know that I was diminishing the work that God was doing through me, at Metro. But it's not just about what God had empowered me to do at Metro, but what God had empowered me to do at Andrews, at Oakwood, and even before that. And so one of the things that God was just like sharing with me is like, hey, get out of proving that you deserve to be here. Get out of proving that you deserve to sit at the table. Like, be grateful that I am inviting you to this table. Be grateful. It's not about the work that you quote unquote prove to do, but it's about because of your relationship with me, and because of the work that I'm doing in your life. It's about what I'm doing, not about what you're doing. Yeah, it's important, Jawan, that you show up. Yeah, it's important, Jawan, that you make the most out of your time.
mm,
But the most important thing that you need to realize is that the work that you put in is a response to the work that I'm putting in. Jawan, the time that you're committing to this, it's in response to the time that I'm investing in you.
mhm,
And so I think seeing that, it helped me to realize that, man, this is something, this is a reason why we should celebrate, that we're not just celebrating me and my accomplishments and the work I've done, but we're celebrating more so what God is doing
mm,
in my life, and me taking a step back and saying, God, you really are doing something special. And seeing childhood like friends and church family, because Shane, he pastors my home church, so seeing them and really having an opportunity to like really hear from them, like, wow, look at how far you've come, right? To seeing people at college, and now just seeing like my current church, um Metro, and even getting a shout out from my next churches,
yeah,
even they showed some love that night too. Um it's just like, yeah, God, you see what the Lord has done,
yeah,
and God, you really are doing some amazing things. So yeah.
yeah. Man, church is an interesting place, bro, 'cause, especially when you're at a larger church, um, it seems like everything is so disconnected, right?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like everything is so um, large that your input might seem like it's lost on because of just how widespread it is. It's like if you are trying to put like a concentrate into like a large bowl of water, right? It might seem like it's just lost because of just how large it is. So that's the feeling that I thought I was having is just, hey, like I'm being very concentrated in this in a few areas, but also being able to kind of pour into a few others. But it just seemed like the impact that I was having was more concentrated and not on a larger scale. So when I was when it was announced that I was being ordained, the affirmation from the church family, I was just like, wow, like uh, people are not just saying thank you to you on Sabbath morning as like a facade that they put up, but when you are really doing what you're called to do, which is really more than your job, it's really to connect with people. If if you're really doing that well and it's genuine, people will celebrate your successes with you. And really that's what it showed me. Ordination, I gotta be honest, did not take away the imposter syndrome. It 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 allowed it to be a little bit less intrusive in my life, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't completely take it away of like, "Wow, I don't know if I should be here or not." It was just more of a, "Hey, you might not need to think about it that deep, but it's still definitely there because of what it of what we're called to do, what all of it looks like." And especially, bro, like right now, like there are individuals that are such high achievers
Yes.
in pastoral ministry that are
Yeah.
doing some amazing things
Yeah.
that you're just like, hey, I know that I'm now an ordained minister, but the standard is still like
High.
way, way up here,
It's up there,
right?
man. It's
So like if you're ordination does not mean that you made it essentially, right? Ordination
yeah.
just is like how we talk about baptism is just the beginning of that journey of saying, "Hey, you put in a lot of work. We recognize you. You have the gift in you. You've been called by God because of the fruits that you've borne so far. But now, really, what it feels like, bro, is that the expectations are now a little higher
Yes.
because you're no longer an intern on the conference level, right? Um, at least
So true.
that's how it feels right now. Is like, hey, you're an ordained minister. Um, what what are your answers to all these problems?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you have to have a really good answer because you're a ordained minister. Like that's not in your bio, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, Dr. Harris, he literally said it to us. He said, uh, welcome officially to ministry.
He
Welcome
did.
officially. You know, uh, and so what? So much, like I said, man, so much was just like I felt like I went in feeling like, oh, I got to do something.
Yeah,
And when he said that, it was just another confirmation. This is your official welcome to working in ministry. And
yeah,
so, dude, it really is just getting started. It
yeah,
really is just getting started. And
yeah.
so I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, one final question for me. One final question for me. Aside from, Dr. Peeler speaking, you know, what's a memorable moment for you from that night? Besides Dr. Peeler, what's another memorable moment?
Man, seeing my parents there, bro.
Mhm.
Like I know that they have always wanted me to do something in ministry,
Yeah.
but seeing my mom, my dad, my sister, even seeing my friends, bro, that were there, like they pulled up that night,
Yeah.
and it meant the world to me. Like seeing them there, um, uh, they they always get mad that I never mentioned their names, but like like Benny, Jacob, Preston, Darnell,
Yeah.
like seeing them there. I know that Jonathan was supposed to be there, but he got um, caught up somewhere. But seeing them there, bro, was like, dang, like
Yeah.
I I genuinely don't know, and this is like a genuine like thought process I have sometimes.
Yeah.
Is I genuinely don't know how people go through life without like support and friends like that. Like I've seen individuals be able to like not have any attachments, but I'm
Yeah.
like, who do you celebrate with?
Yeah, man.
Right? Like who do you celebrate your successes with? Like we being able to celebrate with them meant a lot because I know who who's gonna show up. Even Benny's parents, bro, they drove
Oh
up
man,
that night
that's good.
and they were like, "Hey, like we love you, like thank you for everything you do." Da, da, da. And
Yeah.
they're like family friends since I was like it's in right after diapers.
Mm.
Like they were there. I had family from India watching. I just had like people tuning in. And what was so crazy too, bro, is that people tuned in, and then when I said that I'm dating somebody, my mom got text and they're like, "Who is he dating?" Uh, it
Lo and behold, it was right there. It was right there on
was
the.
right there. But like just that whole process, bro, like was sentimental, and I am not a sentimental person at all. Like I will throw away things. I'm just like it doesn't mean anything. Outside of like letters and things like that. But I'm not that person inside. But
Yeah,
experiencing that just felt great.
yeah.
But how about you, bro? Like outside of church, outside of everything else that weekend, like what's something that you're taking away that you're just like, hey, this part is gonna stick with me for a long time.
Yeah, bro, I'll say this. Very similar to yours. Like the part that meant the most for me was community, you know. I had a feeling that a lot of people would show up for me that day. But man, you know, it really blew my mind. Like, Janelle, she printed out, she made some fans
I
of my
saw,
face,
I saw.
you know. And they actually ran out. There were a lot of people who were wanting fans. So I knew there were going to be a lot of people who showed up. But listen, man, I a part of me feels like I needed that, you know, because like I go through life very much so with the attitude of like, hey, just do your thing. If people can show up for you, that's good. If they can't show up for you, that's okay too. And part of the reason is because growing up, in my household, like my mom was always busy at work. And
Mhm.
like my dad wasn't around. And even when like my stepfather came into my life, he did not know how to be like that present parental figure. And so there would be several times where I would be doing something at school or something big would be happening and classmates would have friends and family present. But me, I had gotten used to, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Mm,
To the extent that um, if I had to do something like preach, I know some individuals would be like, oh, let me tell my friends, let me tell my
mhm.
family I'm preaching so they can come and support. Me, I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone because I don't want to preach and then I don't do well. And then, like I look like an
That's
embarrassment,
real. Yeah,
like I don't want to make them look bad.
yeah.
Um, and so I adopted that mindset, and it could get pretty lonely. It could get pretty lonely doing that. But you know, this time around, I said, nah, I need to enjoy this moment,
Mhm,
uh, and I need to embrace the community that's around. Because I really have done, I really have done a lot to build some healthy connections with people. And so, just to see how many people came and how many people couldn't come, but told me that they wanted to be there and
mhm.
ended up watching online, bro. One of my friends, he couldn't come because his wife got sick and he didn't want to leave her with the kids, right?
Yeah.
With her being sick. What ended up happening, when they called my name, his two toddlers, they were like, Uncle Juju, Uncle Juju, yay, we love you. And I was just like, oh man.
Wow.
Oh man. And yeah, bro, it was good. Like, it's also like one of those things growing up. You ever like are at a graduation and before you hear like a whole bunch of people cheer
Mhm.
and you're like, dang, I hope people cheer for me too. I hope they cheer like because it's always like kind of awkward when like one family like they cheer a whole bunch for like their family
Yeah,
member and
yeah.
the next person goes up and it's just like
Woo. Yeah, yeah.
But like to see like they were brought the air horns, like they had a whole bunch of stuff to make noise. And even like them saying, "Hey, because we know you love Elijah, we also cheered a whole lot for Elijah
Yeah.
too."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Praise
That meant a
God,
lot, man. Yeah.
praise God." So really, like it's the community, because like really, I am here today because of them. Um, I made a lot of mistakes on the journey, and it took some lessons and some bruises to get here. But it's just like those people who are willing to stick in it with you while you're figuring life out. And
Mhm.
all the people that showed up, it's just a testament of all the people who were willing to stick with me throughout the journey, despite the lessons that needed to be learned.
Yeah.
And so I think that, I'm forever grateful for my family, my
Mhm.
mom, my stepfather, my sister. My brothers couldn't be there, but forever grateful for them. Of course, my fiance Janelle, like my childhood friends to college friends to grad school friends, of course, my church members, and
Mhm.
especially like those church members who have become family and like a part of my inner circle. I'm grateful for all those people, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that made it extremely memorable for me.
Let's
So
go,
yeah.
man. Let's go, man. Man, like what I think people were asking me afterwards was, "Hey, like what changes? Like what like what changes after you're
That money,
ordained?"
that money, that money.
I remember asking, I think it was like Will and Dave, and they said it's like a slight bump, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay." Uh, but but from like your day to day, not 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 anything, right?
No, like it's nothing internally that changes. Everything that changes is external,
Yeah.
right? And what I mean by that is the main thing that changes is people's perceptions of you. That's
Mhm.
it. Like, and I think you can understand this. Like once I got engaged, and once people found out that I got engaged, there were some individuals, right, who did not respect me before. But once I got engaged, they it's like they started treating me so differently. They started to act like we had always been friends, and
Mhm.
they started to act like I was the best thing since sliced bread, bro. Like, and ordination is literally like another bump for
Ano
them. It's
It
it's
is, yeah.
another bump.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's really the external perception from certain people, because some
yeah.
individuals, they see it as like, oh, can you really make it in ministry? You
Mhm.
know, are you really fit for this? And once you get ordained, it's just like, okay, okay, you got my
Bro,
respect. You
do
got
you
my
know
respect.
what so, like, there's 2 things that actually changed that, like,
Okay,
that I just thought about now on top of what you just said, right? Like, that
please go ahead.
social so what changes after ordination? 1, you have to update your bio, right? You're now an ordained minister.
Oh,
Right?
forgot about
So
that. Yeah.
that does change because that's how you're received, right? So if you go to church, right, and most of our churches are a bit more conservative, so we have to update our bios and go, hey, like we're now ordained pastors, right? That's like that small technical shift. But do you know what else happened, bro? Like once you're ordained, you're no longer a assistant pastor.
Yes.
Y-
Yes.
You're
Yes.
a associate pastor.
Hmm.
And that shift, I'm not gonna lie, that shift is different
Yeah.
because it goes from people asking, "Hey, like, what does a assistant pastor do?" To, for some reason, people just know what an associate pastor does automatically without having to ask what they do. But most people don't know what an assistant pastor does, so they ask you a lot of questions. Oh, you're the assistant pastor, but that's just a lot of words. What it just does is that it gives you a on the spot promotion basically from
Yes.
being a assistant to a associate. And that's pretty much all I see that has changed. And, oh, third thing, you're now an elder. Like
Hallelujah.
that's that like word that that does change. You are now
Elder,
an elder. Yeah,
elder.
yeah.
Yes, that is very true. That's very true. And so I got to ask you this. I got to ask you this. All right. So now that we're ordained, and it's harder to fire us, like what, um, we're ordained. What's next?
What's next?
Like, because this is a milestone. This is one of those things that, all right, we're checking it off. So what's another goal that you have? It could be professional. It could be
Mhm.
personal. But what's a goal that you want to set for yourself, that you feel comfortable making public?
Yeah. So, one of the goals, bro, like after, well, I guess since ordination is not really like it didn't really stop me from doing anything beforehand. What it did stop is, like me being able to officially marry my friends underneath, like that underneath the official umbrella of the church and things like that. But what I do have as my personal goal, at the end of this by the end of this year, really, is to solidify my evangelism process. So I
Mm,
have the opportunity to do a week long evangelism series um, over at Athelton SDA. So like I had preached there a few times. I had some members that went there. So I got invited. I became friends with their pastor, and they reached out and they're like, "Hey, like we want you to reach out for their Pentecost program." They asked me to be their evangelist and to lead out in that process. So my goal by the end of this year really is to solidify my evangelism approach. And I was able to say, hey, I have anchored. It's a brand. It's there. It's worth. People like it. It's pretty much entrenched in my church's mindset, and it has a little bit of brand awareness, and most importantly, it works. Like people actually wear the shirts, they
yeah,
like the logo. So I said, hey, like if you would consider using that, it'll make everything easier. And they said, yeah. So like one of
awesome.
my goals this year really is to solidify that process down,
Yeah,
with anticipation that maybe God is leading me in that direction
okay,
where I could be someone that uh, c- uh, can be a resource to individuals to be like,
mm,
hey, we want to do this program. We want to go ahead and do an evangelism program for a full week. What does that look like? And then me being able to step in, consult, and say, hey, there's a brand that's established. You can connect into it and then build a community of saying, hey, this person already knows it. This spot out here in Maryland
that's
already knows it. This spot out here in California already knows it. And they kind of just build that together,
yeah,
with the ultimate goal, really, of planting something,
yeah,
so that individuals are able to connect with it, on not just a weekly, like a 1 week level. So yeah, man, like God has really been, uh he's opened up those doors,
hmm
and as he's opening up those doors, I'm like, okay, I guess this is where you want me to focus more of my attention on
mm,
instead of these other areas.
mm.
uh, so that's pretty much for this year what I'm thinking about. How about you, bro? Some goals after ordination?
Yeah. What one? I want to go back to school. Uh, it's time. It's time to finally get back into school, and
Doctorate, Matt?
I don't know about doctorate, but I know I at least want to get a second master's, in the field of psychology. I
Mm,
know I at least want to do that. I considering organizational psychology,
hmm.
especially since we work. All we do is help organize people, and I think it's extremely beneficial to understand how the psychology behind why individuals, especially within our churches, show up the way they show up. And so,
Mm,
I want to be able to do that. Psychology, of course, is a passion of mine, and no matter what, I always want to uh, mix more of that into my preaching and teaching. So that's one thing. Definitely want to go back to school. get some more letters behind my name, and I think
Mm.
this will be a stepping stone towards a doctorate. No one in my family has ever been a doctor before. I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone in my family um, that has received anything with a D at the end. And so, whether it's a PhD, ED, or EDD, or THD, no one's ever done it. And
Yeah.
so, I would like to be the first in my family to be able to do something like that, just to be able to make my mom proud. You know, like
Yeah. I love that.
that, like being able to make my mom proud and allow her and my stepfather to be able to celebrate, say, and be like, "Wow, we did do something right." Stuff like that makes me happy.
I like that.
So that, um, and personal goal, gotta lose this weight, man. I gotta lose this weight. Okay,
Mm.
it's time. It's time. I started something in 2023. I think I lost somewhat about 25, 28 pounds
Mhm.
because I started at
I think I remember that.
288. Yeah, man. Started at 288. Um, and what ended up happening after that is that I got down to 265. Got down to 265. But I unfortunately, I got back up. I got back up,
Mm.
and so now I've had the experience. You know, that experience where people say I lost a lot and then I gained it all back. I had that experience. Okay, I gained it all back. So I'm ready to get back down. I still remember, that my face slimmed down a bit. The clothes fit a little bit better, and I also want to look good for my wedding. I want to look good for my
Yes.
wedding and for my bride. So those are just two things. I also want to join a couple of organizations, just to be able to help with uh, my involvement within the Black community, especially with
Mhm.
like building up men and young teenagers. And so I'm looking for opportunities of what that can look like.
Mhm.
And so those are some goals of mine. Um, Got to figure out what's going to happen at my next two churches.
That's true.
Like, so of course the goal in that sense is just get to know them,
Mhm.
love on them, and see what the vision is going to be and what God is going to unlock within this upcoming season.
I feel that.
So those are just a couple of goals, a couple of
Yeah.
this is what the next chapter is going to look like.
Bro,
So
like, your goals are amazing, especially because it's things that are multi-leveled, right?
mm,
But I'm thinking about individuals, man. We were talking about before ordination, um,
yeah,
how it's different in every conference, right?
mm,
Some like there are some conferences where you have to do like those continued education credits,
yes,
and you have to have like 14 hours or something like that of extra classes and things. And then there are others where they don't really tell you until they tell you, right?
yeah,
So like there's really no official process that you go through,
yeah,
right? But there are probably, man, like I got a text from one of my friends out in Hawaii, and he was like, "Hey, I have a staff member here that wants to do theology,
yeah. Okay.
and she said, and she wants to, do it here at WAU." And it got me thinking, uh, what what hard lessons have we learned
Mm,
in pastoral ministry so far that might be able to help out some individuals thinking about entering in or waiting for their ordination? Like what are some hard lessons that we've learned? Like I always believe in
hmm,
helping people not make the same mistakes. There are some mistakes that everyone has to make, right?
yeah.
And learn through. But what are some mistakes that we've learned from, some hard lessons that we've learned that could potentially save someone from not having to be embarrassed or having to go through that same thing again in their career? Like, can you think of any hard lessons you've learned from either mistakes or advice that you've received that's helped you out?
I can. I think. an initial one, and then I'd love to hear from you. Um, an initial one is pacing. You know, understanding that you understanding that you need to understand a good pace on how to not only be able to build enough relationship with your church so that there's more credibility that you have, but how you can process your church through changes so that you're not going
Mm,
along alone, but you're also bringing individuals with you.
mhm,
Um, and I would say this, um, related to that, not spending so much time focusing on the problem that you don't give enough opportunity to really dialogue on what could be and how certain shifts and changes can be beneficial
mhm.
for the church. I spend a lot of time on, let's say, stuff like, hey, we can dress down, right? We should
Yeah.
be able to dress down, right? And I think after a while, like some individuals were like, Pastor, let's just leave that topic alone. You know? And it's just like a I realized, yeah, that like that's important. One, I'm not a senior pastor, so I only got but so much credibility and authority in their eyes anyway, sway in their eyes anyway. But in addition, uh, it's better to it's better to give people a reason to open things up, as in, hey, let's become a more welcoming church,
Mm,
rather than saying, some of us are judgmental and things like that. You know, win them over with inspiration,
mm,
not with negativity and complaining.
that's true.
And so I would say, if I could have done those things differently, it would have definitely helped process through certain changes that I believe God was placing on my heart to share with certain members. So I would say that. I'll say that. What about you?
Man, as you were speaking, I was thinking through, like, some of the hardships that I might have went through,
Mhm.
and I can't really think of anything crazy, and I think it's more because of me working in situations where God has kept me quiet. And what I mean by that is, I've had friends that work in different areas outside of ministry that were really able to kind of pour into me and kind of give me like skills that have helped me right now. And one of them is, you are not the smartest person in the room. Like, it, like, falls underneath the umbrella of humility, where you just realize that just because you either graduated with your theology degree, you graduated with your MDiv, right? That degree almost sends to give you like a ego boost, but you gotta resist it. You gotta
Yes.
resist the urge that you know everything, that you have the best and the brightest ideas. Because there are pastors that have been in ministry for so long that are hearing what you're saying, and they have almost heard it before and it's failed, or they know that it won't work and they're not ready to receive it yet. So
Mm,
one of the things that I'd say is, and the things that I've learned, and that has really, I would say, has been the credit to a lot of my success, is me understanding that I'm not the smartest person in the room.
yeah.
And you don't always need to share your opinion,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people aren't shopping for your opinion. They're looking how to make theirs better,
Phew.
right? So, like, there's no reason to tilt the boat when that's not the assignment. Like,
Yeah.
exactly like how you said it, right? And it all falls underneath, for me at least, humility. Like, once you have like a humble mindset, you'll be able to really like hold back, because you don't always
Mhm.
need to share, you don't always need to give input, because that's not always the assignment. Especially,
Right.
being what I think what some individuals might graduate into is a assistant or a associate pastor that's in
Mhm.
the role of helping out. it's really hard, bro, to break that mindset of I'm not the one in charge. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the one in charge, so my goal is to facilitate and help out the lead person.
Mhm.
And when you have that humble mindset, you that'll protect you from yourself. And a lot of the times we're our worst enemy because we'll go, "Hey, I could have done that better. I could have executed better.
Yep.
There's a better idea than that."
Yep.
And church, as much as we want it to be, is not built for efficiency, right? Like ch- church is not built for efficiency.
That's a very
um,
respect. That's a very respectful way of saying it. Of putting it.
but the second one I'd share outside of being humble, bro, and being um, someone that can change out that mindset
Yeah.
is figure out figure out where you have your passion and work on it.
Yeah.
Because if you're spreading yourself out in literally every single base that church has to offer in every single ministry, you'll never find what you're good at. Uh, a a person that's good at everything is a master at nothing, right? So you want to be able to say that, hey, I'm a master in one thing, and
Yeah.
I'm average in everything else. That is a skill set that people can use,
Yeah.
really. So if you're able to figure out, hey, I love children's ministry, right? Figure out the best stuff that works out in that ministry. Figure out what works, what doesn't work. So when you're brought in, you can say, "Hey, I have all these ideas. I have all these things that are proven to work." People love proven ideas over experimental ones. So if you're able to figure out, workshop, and get some things together, that'll help you succeed instead of having to learn a bunch of different tasks.
Yeah.
Prioritize some things, and it's okay to leave things out on the side, because it will get taken care of. Bro, like I'm not sure if you agree with the statement, but the church is always going to move on. Like
Yes.
the church will always have somebody. It's not in a lack of people wanting to lead out. So don't think that everything relies on you to do everything. Um,
Very true.
like
Very true.
that's not
It
what it
really
is.
is about priority and figuring out what you need to do. And I'll say this: it doesn't necessarily have to be pastoral ministry. Most of our listeners aren't pastors. But the truth is like whatever walk of life, whatever career field that you're in, truth is that understanding what your priorities need to be will save you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of time. A lot of us are spending time doing things that are not crucial to the work that we're doing,
Mm,
and it's not the best use of your time.
yeah,
And so understanding, learning what needs to be your priority, um, so that it can help you get closer and closer to your goal.
hmm,
I believe that that's something that many of us, if not all of us, we need to be able to take some time to reflect on so that we can indeed chart a course for us to indeed begin prioritizing those very important things. I
yeah,
would say that.
yeah,
I would say
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And so, I think that ultimately, like we said, this is really just the beginning. This is just the
Hmm.
beginning for us, and it's a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone. It's not the finish line, but it's a stepping stone. And like many people say, we need to do our very best to make sure that we don't get comfortable where we are, but we need to continue to press forward so that we can indeed grow.
Grow.
So that's all
Yeah,
I got. That's all I got. You got
yeah.
anything that you'd like to share with our people?
Nah, man. I'm just excited, bro. For ministry, and I'm looking forward to seeing what God has in this next season for you and for me, bro. Because it's it's about to be different. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it, man. And I I love the scripture, bro, that says that because he brought you so far, he's not going to abandon you right now, right?
Yeah.
He will bring it to a full completion. And that's what really allows me to kind of still move forward. So I appreciate everyone, bro, that has tuned in, journeyed along with us. We appreciate you. We know that this was a bit more of a sentimental episode. We're able to catch up and recap. We would love to know what you think so far about the podcast, any topics you want us to cover. Go ahead and share it in the description, in the comments. Email us, text us. There's a link that you can text us on. We would love to know. Until we have our next episode, Javon, always a privilege talking to you, man. And we will catch everyone on the next episode of the Two Young Pastors podcast. See y'all later.
Peace.